All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining the She is Hope LA 2022 Fall She Is series. We are having an official kickoff, like a secondary kickoff with Mom Coach Michelle Runnels. She is an amazing lady. She's been one of our regular speakers. And our topic this whole series is going to be around finances for us to help as moms with our kids and how to attack it and what our how we want to handle things. So I'm going to go ahead and let Michelle introduce herself. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks, Tisha. Hi, everybody. I think this is the first time, maybe, no, or the second time I've done it via Zoom. So thank you guys for joining. It is actually after 9 o'clock my time. I have moved from Southern California to Minneapolis. So I'm just grateful that I have timed my coffee properly so that I'm actually have energy right now. Because trust me, it's been hard for me the older I get to stay up later, to think clearly later. So I guess when Tish and I were thinking about how I could contribute, the one thing that came up is that I am a parenting instructor, but I'm also a certified life coach and I coach moms. So obviously, money and parenting, those two things overlap a lot, but when we talked, we just talked about me basically being able to speak to mindset around money, like what money is, how we think about it, how we experience it, how we use it in our lives, and the pitfalls that we can have, even when we're trying really hard to be responsible, even when we're trying really hard to plan. What are the pitfalls that we fall into accidentally around money? And so just bear with me because I'm talking about mindset, I'm going to back up a little bit and just frame it out for you. But first, I do want to just tell you a little bit about myself. I have been a parenting instructor for 17 years. I have been a certified life coach for the last 7. And I work primarily right now with moms with tween, teen, and college age kids. But I have a very long, almost now 20-year background coaching moms with children of all ages. The first 10 years of my practice, 12 years of my practice was coaching moms with children between the ages of 0 and 7. So if you ever have any questions, I know that you can get in touch with me. I've got a worksheet you guys can sign up to get. It's just, I have it on a server and you just sign up, put in your email and it'll mail it to you automatically. It's not to get advertisements from me or anything. And in that, you'll see in my tagline all of my contact information in case you have any questions. So the reason that I got into teaching parenting, was because I was working full-time in high tech in the 90s. I've got 2 now college-age daughters. And when I had my first child, I wanted to stay home with her, but I also wanted to work. And I couldn't feel comfortable doing either one. When I was with my daughter, I felt guilty. When I was at work, I felt guilty. I felt guilty that I wasn't doing enough for work, that I wasn't doing enough for her. And so finally, because I didn't have any tools to cope with that, I ended up staying home. And in staying home, I just had so much energy, so much desire to contribute, that I just really decided I was just going to be the perfect mom. And I had no idea how to freaking do that. So I took a parenting class, and the parenting class I took was amazing because now I know basically it was just a giant mindset class. It was a 5-week mindset class course is what I call it. And I became certified to teach that. I taught that for a long time. Then I got my master's in spiritual psychology, and that's when I moved into more of the coaching. And then I became a certified life coach through Martha Beck's Wayfinder coach training program. So that is kind of like my journey into what I'm doing now. And so I'm going to jump right into the money part because we're all ladies here. It's a small group. I don't think I need to do any slick transitions. So I just want to start off by saying that one of the challenges that we have with money is that because it is a representation of gold, because it represents something very valuable, and it's become something that we don't have to dig in the ground for or something that we have to, hunt for. It's something that we can apply our time and energy toward and receive all of these representations of value that we can then hold and use with other people to get the goods we want. For anything, it's not like we want to get ourselves a new radiator for our car and someone's like, well, I want 4 chickens, right? The money we can give to anyone. We're not bartering or trading anymore. So money really does represent anything we want, anything. And we don't need to find a special person who's going to take our money. Anyone will take our money, anyone. So all of a sudden, money has come to represent anything we want, anything we desire. And that makes it really hard for us to be able to experience the power that money has to meet our needs and our wants, and to separate that from the feelings that we feel in our lives. And by that, I mean the whole idea of having a bad day and going out and buying a bottle of wine, right? So money can buy us this thing that we think is going to change the way we feel. It can help us, buy us a new scarf, a new, pair of earrings, a new lipstick, right? To help improve the way we think about ourselves. And so all of these feelings are often attached to what we end up spending our money on. It's really, really rare nowadays, especially with Amazon and just all of this online shopping where we push a button and we literally don't even watch the money leave our account. We literally paid for it at the end of the month and hate ourselves for it, right? That it's really rare that we actually think through exactly why we're spending our money on something. We really think through what it's going to do for us after the thrill of buying it, after the thrill of having it in our hands has gone. And so I want to discuss that whole mental process with you guys and to talk a little bit about how we can really take dominion, take dominance over this impulsive feeling-based shopping for ourselves, for our kids, for our lives and our lifestyles, but also on the other end, to really have gratitude for what it is we provide so that we've created, so that really we don't feel the need to use money in order to bring ourselves feelings of pleasure, right? Feelings that we want to have. So the first thing I want to discuss is how feelings are not made by our experiences or by other people, right? You made me mad. You made me sad. We say that, but that's not accurate. Feelings aren't given to us, right? What happens is that we have an experience with a person, place, or thing, or a circumstance, and then we have thoughts about it. And those thoughts that we have about the person, place, thing, or circumstance are what generate our feelings. So the feelings aren't the facts based on the circumstance, right? Someone rear ends us and we're pissed. So that pissed feeling isn't coming from the rear ending, getting rear ended in our car. That pissed feeling comes from the thought we have after we get rear ended, which is, excuse my language, but what the fuck was that person doing? What the fuck is wrong with you? Right? And that thought is what creates that feeling, right? There's something wrong with that person. This shouldn't have happened. There's something wrong with them, or there's something wrong with, the traffic or my day. And here we go. And I'm going to get pissed off. And so because our thoughts generate our feelings, we have the power to create our own feelings simply by deciding we're going to have the thoughts that we want to have. And so I want to give a quick example of what I mean in like our everyday lives. So I have a client who I was coaching the other day, and she was talking about how angry she was at her husband because she had told her husband that she loved flowers. She wanted him to get her flowers. And that degree of honesty was something that she'd finally told him. And she'd asked him for one thing, that 2 times a week, he get her flowers. And he was doing that for her. And she was elated. She was so happy that he was doing that. She felt powerful. She felt like she'd asked for what she wanted. She started seeing the power of what it was to be able to know the actual physical thing that she wanted, right? I want to be happy. How can you be happy in your marriage? I want to feel loved. How can you feel loved? Well, I want him to be nice to me. Well, what does that look like? It looks like him being nice, but what does it look like? Well, if he got me flowers, that would be nice. Okay, so you'd feel loved if he got you flowers. Yes. So he was getting her flowers. Her birthday came. He got her flowers. He got her the same flowers he was getting her 2 times a week, which were flowers wrapped in plastic from Trader Joe's. But somehow on her birthday, the Trader Joe's flowers pissed her off instead of making her feel loved. And the reason for that, when we explored it, was because the Trader Joe's flowers had different value to her than having flowers that came in a vase from a florist that didn't cost $5.99, but cost $50 or more. So she was mad at him on her birthday for getting her flowers. Why? And the reason for that is because it wasn't about the flowers. It was about the feeling she wanted to have when she received the flowers. Right? Does that make sense to everybody? Makes sense? Okay. Another example, and this is a parenting example, and thank you. Thanks, Gab. So another example is your kids. So you ask your kids to get their sneakers out from under the coffee table, and they tell you they'll do it before they go to bed. And you wake up the next morning and the damn sneakers are still there, right? And you get pissed off. So you go, you wake your kids up, time for school anyway, and you tell them, you told me you were going to get the sneakers. This always happens. You're never getting your sneakers out from, I've always asked you, say you're going to do it and you don't do it. So they get out of bed and they're like, oh God, I'm sorry, I forgot. And they go and they grab their sneakers and they take them in their room, and you're still mad. Because it wasn't about the sneakers. It was about the feeling of disappointment that you felt when you saw that the sneakers were still there. So the reason that I'm bringing this up is because money has its limits. Money has its limits. You can create money. You can spend money. It can come in and out. And then when it comes in, you've traded your services for money that you can then put out and trade your money for something that comes in. But money isn't there to give you a feeling. It's not there to generate feelings of organization that you get when you buy that new set of baskets for the bathroom. The money can buy the baskets, but that feeling of organization is not the responsibility of the money or the baskets. It's your responsibility to create for yourself. The money can buy you a gym membership, but it's not going to create that feeling of excitement or sexiness or whatever that you want because now you're a gym member. And all of this is like, okay, yeah, I get it. But the truth is that we don't really get it, because when we're sitting there with a problem and we decide that the solution's on Amazon, in that minute, we have decided that spending money is going to give us a new feeling. The other day, I was looking at $50 plastic lunch bag, quart bag organizers made out of bamboo that I could put in my drawer and shove all my bags in. And I had to ask myself, okay, what do I want from this? And the truth was, I told myself, I want my bags to be organized, but then I had to dig deeper and I'm like, okay, what's that going to do for me? And what I wanted was these organizers to cut back on my frustration, because I hated the idea of pulling out this drawer and getting distracted and frustrated every time I opened the drawer that had all of my bags in plastic wrap and parchment, whatever it's called, cooking parchment, whatever it's called, in there. I wanted the money to make my frustration go away. And are there tools that I can use to make my life easier? Yes. Will money buy those for me? Yes. But managing my emotions is my responsibility. And I don't need,
where are you?
oops, I don't need to pay for a solution. I don't need to pay for a feeling. Feelings are free to have. So I'm going to pause here and ask if anybody has any questions. I know I'm moving kind of quickly, and so if any of these confusing, I'm happy to answer any questions. Okay. So again, so what money can do has its limits. So I want to back up a little bit, and I want to talk about the two different ways that we can think about our goals with money.
Did you go poo-poo? Oh, I smelled it. Damn it.
Hey, Jessica, could you mute?
Oh, shoot. Oh, no, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Thank you. So I want to just talk about our goals with money. So I'm going to just hit you with the terms I use. One is goal line. And the goal line is like a football game. You start the game, you want a touchdown. You get the touchdown, someone does a touchdown dance, but then you want another touchdown. And then they do the dance, and then you want another one. And if you don't get the touchdown, you're disappointed. But there's always another touchdown. And even after the game is won, you know there's another game to play and another series of touchdowns. And you want to get one touchdown until you want the next one. Then you want 2 touchdowns. Then you want 4. Then you want 6. Then you want 8. Then you look at other people and you decide, okay, I want another one. So that goal line mentality is part of the reason that we end up getting into these spending races with ourselves, is because we decide that we want, for me, right? I want the organizer, and I get the organizer, and the organizer is good until it's not anymore. It works until it doesn't anymore for me, to make me feel like I've organized things, like my life is easy and I'm not frustrated and I'm not irritated. Then I have another frustration or irritation. So I go on the IKEA website and I try to figure out what's there for my frustration or irritation, right? Or I get on Etsy, or I go to Target, right? Full disclosure, this is how it works for me when I'm not managing my thinking. And when I really think that another thing is going to solve this for me. We also have another choice, which is the soul line. I call it the soul line, where instead of thinking, okay, that was good, what's next? We think that worked or it didn't. What did I learn from that? And the way that we can do that with our money is that we can decide before we spend our money exactly what that purchase, even if it's something we need, like a new set of brakes, what is that purchase going to do for me? And not what is it going to make me feel, but what is my world going to look like that's different if I get that, right? So that for me, part of the reason that I haven't bought that bamboo organizer is that I asked myself, what's the bamboo organizer going to do for me for all my bags? And the truth is that it's going to sit in my drawer and hold my bags for me. And the only difference is that the cardboard isn't going to catch every time I open the drawer. Is that enough for me to spend $50? Is that enough of a solution? Is that enough of a big enough problem that I want to spend 50 bucks, 40, 50 bucks solving that? And for me personally, the answer has been no. Because in the purchase, even though the irritation is there and the motivation is there to make that irritation go away using money in the moment, is it really necessary? And then for me, it's, is that really my goal? Is that $50 really going to be spent well if I shove it in a drawer for my plastic bags? Or would I rather have it and save it and really consider how I want to use it the next time? Okay, so again, I want to pause and just see if there are any questions or if there are any confusions that I can relieve, because I know I'm talking about a lot of stuff. Okay, so what I want to offer is that I'm gonna put a link to a worksheet that I made up. It's super, super simple, super straightforward. It looks like it has no value whatsoever, but the questions are so direct that I really want to like encourage you to use it and to practice using it for like every single purchase you make. Like just practice using it for everything you do just for a while. And because you're going to find how uncomfortable it is, right? In that moment when you're asking yourself, okay, I want to stop at the store and I want to buy this bottle of wine, right? Or I know that I'm really saving up to, you know, to get a new car, but I really want to take my kids to Disney this weekend. It's a special weekend. You know, it's one kid's birthday and the other kid, something happened. This is the weekend to go to Disney. This is our $600 Disney weekend, right? Which is a lot of money. To really ask yourself, what feelings am I trying to have? Why am I doing it? What am I hoping to experience? What feelings are part of that experience? And this is in the worksheet. What feelings, once I've journaled down all of the feelings, what feelings are in that experience? And then to be able to say, okay, how can I create those feelings? How do I know I can create those feelings without spending any money at all, right? How can I make my kids feel loved? How can I feel like relaxed without spending any money at all? And I promise you, if you do this worksheet or if you do this process, journaling or whatever, and you are honest and ask yourself, really like make space, take a deep breath and make some space. How can I feel relaxed and not spend any money? You will have the answer come to you almost immediately. I mean, for me, I asked that out loud and the first thing that popped into my head was take a hot bath, right? Take a hot bath. And for other people, it might be walk around the block. For other people, it might be call my mom, right? For other people, it might be, you know, grab a bunch of, which is what I'm going to do after this call, grab a bunch of grapes and sit and watch The Bachelorette, right? I mean, so there are always these opportunities that come our way to be able to meet our emotional needs if we can hit pause in the impulse to use money to solve that, to use money to create an emotion. And we will create that emotion. But the truth is after that emotion hits, as we all know, any of us know who've gotten a gift or bought ourselves something special, or, you know, the last time we bought a new car, that emotion hit. I remember the feeling of buying my first car ever. When I was I bought my first new car when I was almost 30. And it was the cheapest car on the market you could get back then, which was a Honda Civic 2-door hatchback. And I bought it for myself. And I remember being elated every time I got into it for about 3 weeks. And then all of a sudden it was just a car. And I'm in a rental now and my dishwasher doesn't really clean the dishes. But when the dishwasher is broken, I am angry, but I also don't have a thrill once it's fixed, right? I don't have this explosion of gratitude for my dishwasher once it's fixed. It's like, okay, this is the way the world's supposed to be. So it's really important that we watch our emotions, and what we've kind of taken for granted is needing to be in our lives And what we've taken for granted are feelings we shouldn't feel. We shouldn't feel uncomfortable. We shouldn't suffer at all. We shouldn't have any kind of uncomfortable emotion. And now, honestly, with the advent of online shopping, it's become so easy to just overshop or shop to get rid of an emotion. The same way that we would, eat to get rid of an emotion, or, do whatever to get rid of an emotion. So I'm going to put this worksheet in the chat. And I do want to open the floor to a conversation about this if anybody is interested in talking about it, because I found that sometimes the most valuable, hold on, I'm looking for my link here. The most valuable learnings come from actually like having an opportunity to talk about it, and even to maybe get coached about it. Oops.
And I can go ahead and stop the chat if you want, stop the recording if you are at that point to
Sure.
have the discussion. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, or we can, or if there are any questions, I'm happy to record those too, if anybody's interested.
Yeah, perfect. Let me go ahead.